Last week at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Chris Jericho dominated the field to get his third win on the season, all at the short tracks. But here tonight, we kick off the second half of the season, here with only 2 short tracks left and a lot of speedway type tracks for the final 8 races. 4 out of the 8 to be exact, and we're at one of the most chaotic and unpredictable mile and a halves on the schedule of Chicagoland Speedway for race 9 on the season and for the JBL 200 underneath the lights in Joliet, Illinois. What's up, everyone? It's the Boyans Race 97, aka Nathan Stapleton, and welcome to Chicagoland Speedway, and welcome to one of the most chaotic tracks on the schedule, year in, year out. And this is going to be a fun race here tonight. 34 laps on tap, about 20-ish laps on fuel, give or take. And we gotta see if anyone can stop Chris Jericho here tonight. He's won 3 out of the first 8, but all of them are on the short tracks. And really, we gotta see if anyone can beat Spider, because they've won 5 out of the first 8 so far this season. And we got Bronson Mick up here in the booth for the first time in season 6, and welcome to Chicagoland Speedway.
Thank you for having me, Nathan. It's been quite a while since we've been back here in the booth together, but what a reunion to be back here at Chicagoland. By far my favorite track here on the JBL schedule, or the truck schedule, pardon, but nonetheless, it's great to be back here.
Absolutely. This racetrack, regardless of what series, it is some of the most chaotic racing that we see in each and every season. And that goes on with the crashes, the racing, and all the multi-group. There's definitely 2.5 lanes here at Chicagoland Speedway. So how do you think that's going to play out for some of these drivers here tonight, right? The spotted trucks in the second row that start up front, but want to try and keep that track position.
Well, keeping track position, and you know, it's kind of like the saying, like baking the cake and eating it too. You can do one thing, but I don't think you can do both. So you're gonna have to sacrifice one thing on the long haul. I think at the beginning, track position will be your best friend, and then the pit stop will pretty much determine how you finish the race. But track position, in my opinion, very early on will be the most important, as well as getting that to that inside lane into turn number 1. Drivers have massive runs coming all the way around the front stretch, and having those runs to the inside, Nathan, sending it absolutely dive bombing going into turn number 1, that would be crucial to have that track position to defend.
Absolutely. The inside lane and the second lane can work, and gotta see how it all goes down. 34 laps here on tap for race number 9 on the season already, and we are at Chicagoland here tonight, of course, before we go out west for a 3-race West Coast wing. So we gotta see how it all goes down. Chris Jericho, 3 wins the first 8 races, and he is finally the new point leader. Surprisingly enough, it took him this long. He has an 8-point lead over his teammate Juan Garcia in second. Third is Logan Williams, and unfortunately he starts all the way back in 31st here tonight. He's 21 points behind. Emily York Watson is in 4th, minus 27. Duncan Ward is in 5th, minus 29. Nico Samadillo is in 6th, minus 36. Benny Watson on pole here tonight is in 7th, minus 40. Felicity Mendoza in 8th, minus 40. Nick Lopez in 9th, minus 41. And then running at the top 10 in points, having a quiet and consistent season still, is Roberto Crown Jr. minus 50. Those are the points after the first half of the season. What will the second half bring? We gotta wait and see. But it is Ben Watson 7th in the points standings. He's on the pole here tonight with Ryan Dwyer in 2nd. Row number 2 is Juan Garcia and the point leader of Chris Jericho and Abel in 5th. And Felicity Mendoza in 6th. Bill Ayers in 7th. Avery Alford in 8th. And then Matthew Burnett, he's had a solid season as well. 11th in the point standings. And alongside is Caleb Burrows rounding out the top 10. Very chaotic racetrack, Bronson. We see 2, 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide at times. And the start is very chaotic, to say the least. But who's still picked to win race 9 on the season and past halfway here in the season 6 of the Powerade Truck Series? for the JBL 200.
Well, I know necessarily it's not been his bread and butter, but I feel like now is a better time than any to get Chris Jericho finally a win on the intermediate. It's always been on the short track so far this season, and I feel like right here at Chicagoland, at a track like this, starting to win at a track like this, a mile and a half pretty much in length, better place than ever because a lot of tracks on the schedule are exactly like this. As far as a note for all the other drivers, turn 3 would be the biggest trouble point, biggest danger zone, in my opinion. We see a lot of action there pretty much every time we come here. A lot of 4 wide that you mentioned, maybe even a hint of 5 wide, but that's on very rare occasions. But definitely 4 wide, people stacking up, checking up. A lot of action there in turn 3. But overall, my pick, Nathan, that's going to be Chris Jericho in the 77.
We'll see if he can get the job done. You mentioned these mile halves. We got 3 out of the last 5, or 3 out of the last 8. All of these mile halves, and then you got Darlington, which is a speedway, but it's a unique speedway. So you gotta be good at this type of racetrack towards the end. We gotta see Boston's been solid this year. Can he get his first win out of the Truck Series season? Let's find out. It will be Ben Watson and Ryan Giovanni. Leans back to the green. We are finally back on the mile halves, and we are racing at Chicagoland Speedway to kick off the second half of the season for the JBL 200. A great start from Juan Garcia in the number 7. He's going to cut the point lead down to 7 and will lead lap number 1, get a bonus point towards the championship. Garcia trying to become a 2-time Truck champion this year. And now 3 wide inside the top 5. And that really inside lane is not really where you want to be. But a great one on an exit. It's really the middle and outside lane. It's such a good one here at Chicagoland.
Absolutely, and being behind that 3 wide there going into turn number 1, that's not what you wanted to see. That stack up's not what you wanted to see if you're on that inside right behind that stacking up car. Look at the outside line. Car's trying to escape to that outside, but if you're Chris Jericho being stuck behind that 3 wide, that's not where you wanted to be. Something that you did not want to see also is Juan Garcia leading that lap. And Garcia leads another lap, adding on to his tally so far, but now Chris Jericho has found that momentum to the quarter panel, almost to the 33 there of Ryan Durrani there. Now getting back in line. Everyone's going to stay single file. The 11's going to jump out of line, possibly try to make a look. That's going to be Aaron Abel taking a look to Benny Watson. They're going to go side by side going into turn number 1.
Aaron Abel's had a solid season up and down, but he's had a lot of bad luck as a late start of the year pretty strong. But he's now 20th in the point standings. He wants a good one here tonight, and these Tricon trucks have been very strong all year. There's normally 2 of them up front, and we got 2 of them inside the top 7 right now, to my point. But the outside lane, that second lane is so strong here at this version. Dwayne's going to push Ben Watson down the front stretch. And we're going to see a relatively season right now. He's had every single lap so far, and if he leads up to that waypoint, he will guarantee get another bonus point, and it will be at least 6 points. Going into Las Vegas. Look at Jericho trying to make a 3 right through the middle.
And Jericho has to do everything he can to make sure that Garcia does not lead any more laps. That's going to be the 33 Watson into the wall off of turn number 4. 3 wide still down the front stretch here at Chicagoland. Jericho bouncing off of the trucks, diving into turn number 1 and a turn number 2. And we have the battle for the lead heating up here. That is the 56 there, right on the back bumper. Benny Watson, and Watson's making a move. They're into turn number 3. And look at this move. The 91 all over the back bumper of Aaron Abel, side by side for the lead. We have action all over the place, side by side off of turn number 4. And we have a battle for first going on, a battle for third going on, and a battle for everything else behind all of that, but still side by side between Watson and Juan Garcia.
Well, I know Richmond is the action track short track wise, but this might be the action track of mile half, so there might have been a little bit of movement back in the back with Anthony Hernandez, and Watson almost got clear, but Juan Garcia with a one on the outside lane. Gonna still be side by side, but Watson will lead that lap. So Garcia will lead the first 6, but it will be Watson leading lap number 7. Dewani almost won at not Las Vegas, at Charlotte, and he probably could have won that one, and now Abel is going to make it 3 wide here for the second place spot. Fantastic racing. I was a little bit worried at the start, but now these guys are getting a little bit more spread out, and we could stay green for the majority of this race here. Dewani in second now, Abel in third, and now Jericho and Garcia 1-2 in points side by side for fourth.
Jericho just kind of boxed right in there on the inside line. He's going to try and send it up the inside of Aaron Abel. Benny Watson pulling away from the 33 there. Ryan Durrani in second place, but here comes Jericho to the inside trying to make a move for third place on Aaron Abel. Jericho wiggly loose, wiggly wobbly off the corner. Still side by side with Aaron Abel down the front stretch. Garcia lost a lot of ground, hasn't been able to make it up since. Trying to get back his lost ground, but Caleb Rose right behind is going to make sure he stays in his ground. Still side by side for third place with Aaron Abel and Juan Garcia. Still side by side going into turn number 3. A lot of moves. Sorry, that was Aaron Abel and Chris Jericho. Garcia now to the back bumper of Jericho. Pushing Jericho down the front stretch of the 91 of Caleb Rose. And now the 7's going to take him to the inside going into turn number 1.
Oh, boy.
Oh, goodness.
32 got a move on the 7 there, and how about Caleb Rose? He got a top 5 at Nashville a couple of races ago on tire strategy. This is pure speed from this 91 here tonight. Absolutely hauling on the long one inside the top 5. Dewani almost got to the 56 right there, but a great 3 and 4 from Benny Watson as we are about halfway through. The few one that's out halfway through actually, about 10 or 12 laps away from pit stops. And shout out to Mendoza, the walk-in winner early in the season inside the top 10. Same with Dio. Quiet and consistent. 5 top 10s in the first 8. And he's back inside the top 10. How about this? A-Val for Mim Ayers and Duncan Ward. Back here, all bound for the final couple of spots inside the top 10. Josh Williamson, Matthew Burnett in the 45. Continuing his very consistent season of just being outside the top 10. 11 points, only 1 top 10. But he's been so good. Top 15 master here this season. A lot of strong ones. Whoa, having a rough night. And unfortunately, a little bit of separation in the back here with Logan Williams and others here early on, as we are only on lap 13 points. And we're seeing a lot of stuff. And now I think we're starting to get these guys calm down a little bit. Realize that, hey, about less than 10 laps time, we gotta make a pit stop.
Yes, that's what they want you to think, Nathan. Here comes Abel trying to take a look to the inside of Durrani, but Durrani there for a little bit was creeping up to the back bumper of Benny Watson. Now Aaron Abel dives to the inside of the 33 side by side off of turn number 4. Caleb Rose is going to love this if he has a run. Sorry, that's Chris Jericho if he has a run down the front stretch. Where's Jericho going to go? Can't do anything with it. He's going to stay right behind Aaron Abel, maybe shove him off the groove. But down the backstretch they go. Watson is loving this. He wants to see them battle 2 wide, 3 wide, hopefully 4 wide, and then wreck. That's all Watson wants to see. Still back bumper all over Aaron Abel. It's Chris Jericho. Then here comes Caleb Rose to the inside of Chris Jericho with help from aforementioned Mendoza. They're going to keep it very peaceful for now. But yeah, like you said, Nathan, the pit stops will be coming up very shortly, and that has to be coursing through each driver's mind.
Absolutely, and one thing about Chicagoland with this version, once tires wear, that outside lane, or that second lane really becomes the way to go, and we've seen it here in this one. The first 8 laps is very competitive, but the outside lane on old tires is really taking into effect here. And shout out to Sam Dio, still looking for his first truck win, but he's running strong, and of course you got Watson looking for, I don't know, his whopping 6th Truck Series win, and he wants win number 15 here tonight. Won the Richard Harvard Championship shootout here in a month ago. He got win number 14, and he wants win number 15, and he might be in a good position, but pit stops is going to be key. We've seen a wreck before during pit stops at Chicagoland, and we gotta be very careful on that. About a handful of laps away from pit stops, and for Jericho, he is not too far ahead of Juan Garcia, so he also needs to make sure he has a clean pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything less than a perfect pit stop will be disastrous for Chris Jericho. They have that ground, they have that track position, as we said pre-race. And if you lose any of that ground, any of that track position, that's pretty much going to end your day early because I believe we only have one pit stop, if I'm correct, right, Nathan?
Yeah, round 20, lap 22.
So yeah, I mean, you only get one chance on pit road with nailing it, entry, exit, merge. So all of these things to consider.
Right
Now we
now.
have Aaron Abel diving in. So is Juan Garcia. He's jumping into the pits. Watch out on the other track, but just two trucks coming down to pit road, and the pit stops have begun. The very early cut, Nathan.
These guys are basically splitting it halfway on lap 19, just past halfway. A little bit sooner than I expected. I thought it was going to be lap 22, but it's going to be right now. And here comes Watson, Dewani, Jericho. A busy pit lane. Everybody is pitting right with a late pit road entry, and you got to be careful for that. Everybody on pit road, about 20-25 twats on pit lane.
And it is busy, Nathan. Everybody's coming down. Well, I was not say everybody, but a lot of the field has come down, Nathan. The first hitters, they're coming in. They're coming out, actually, right now. Benny Watson is going to take pit stall number 1, pole sitter. And we'll see what he takes. Definitely 4 tires, full tank of fuel. The 2 tires, everybody's going to take 4, full tank. There goes the 52, Duncan Ward. Caleb Rose is out. Benny Watson's going to get out first, Nathan. A lot of shuffling. Mendoza muscling Ward out of the way.
A very congested pit lane with 25-28 twats on pit road right there. And, William is. I think he might have been one of the twats that made contact into the pit lane, and he has no hood now. And same exactly with Fitzwater. So something might have happened into him pit lane. And now you got Roberto Crown Jr., Angel Gutierrez, and the 22 of Kyle Sussroy on pit lane. And they're already leaving their stall. And now it's going to be Aaron Abel, who did the undercut by 1 lap. Is going to jump Benny Watson, who's going to be in second now. Ryan Dewani is going to be in third. Jericho is going to be in fourth. Mendoza in fifth. Caleb Rose in seventh will be the number 7 of Juan Garcia. 8th will be Ryan Dewani. 9th will be San Rodillo. And running out of the top 10 will be Alexander. Well, these spots have been bad fast all season. Now, all of a sudden, all 3 of them are inside the top 10. Shout out to the 22, though, of Kyle Sussroy. That's going to look out for him on the short one, and maybe even towards the end. Might be able to seal the top 10. But feels very spread out now, Brunson, and surprisingly, for the most part, we were able to stay good on pit lane. And now side by side between Abel and Watson for the race lead with 11 laps to go.
And this is going to be the battle for the win unless they get caught by the rest of the pack. This is it. It's going to be a 2-car dogfight to the very end. Something I wanted to note, Nathan, is that Aaron Abel came out second, now battling for the lead and win. But Juan Garcia, who came in at the same exact time, same lap, same turn, Garcia's all the way back there fighting for the top 10. So something definitely happened there on the exit of pit road at least, because Garcia is right behind there of Duncan Ward, Duncan Ward, I believe that is.
Whoa.
And now they're going to go 3 wide. Garcia's going to get split through the middle of the 71 there.
What a
That's
move.
Alexander Rose. Rose trying to clear. Goodness, Nathan. And now Aaron Abel going into turn number 3 will clear Benny Watson for the lead.
Don't know what happened to Benny Watson there. Or if Abel just got a massive slipstream effect, and I think that's what's gonna happen. And now Abel is gonna get caught by the same move that Benny Watson is gonna do here. Swapping back and forth for the race lead was Watson, was Abel. Now it's Watson again, and this has allowed Dewani and Jericho and maybe even Mendoza to close back in.
My goodness, all of their dogfighting, Nathan. It's led the 33 to send it to the inside, Nathan. We have a 5-car battle for the win here, Nathan. A handful of laps to go. Who do you got, Nathan? I'm still sticking strong with Chris Jericho. He's put himself in this position. Now he just has to finish it off, but it's still Benny Watson holding strong. Ryan Durrani there, P number 2, and Chris Jericho slides into P number 3.
Great one from Chris Jericho here tonight once again. Like we've seen him all season long. It's been 5 top 5s in 8 races. Looks like it'll be 6 top 5s in 9 races. Basically top 5 will bust this season. And he is a fast hot rod here late in the going. If Ben Watson wants his 15th win on the channel and his 6th Truck Series win in particular, he needs to hold off quite possibly the best best rider and owner pairing this season in the Powerade Truck Series in that 77 team. Great one from A&A. Well, I don't know what happened after that pit stop Watson, but they got fairly racy, and even all the way back here with Duncan Ward, same deal, and Juan Garcia. Just everyone got really racing and amped up like crazy. Only have 6 laps to go, and Jericho is closing in once again to Benny Watson.
And he has one more man on that list that he wants to get to, Nathan. What is his name? Benny Watson. Chris Jericho trying to add one more name to the list. Aaron Abel sliding all the way back to the clutches of Felicity Mendoza. Mendoza's going to jump to the inside. That's going to be the battle for P number 5. Everybody's staying pretty even Stevens for now. 5 laps to go, 4 next time around. And Chris Jericho is all the way there, and he's going to make the move to the inside. Nathan down the backstretch on Benny Watson. And in turn number 3, it's going to be Chris Jericho sending it to the inside in turn number 3 on Benny Watson.
These guys are just using all these fresh tires up right here, right now. And we got to see if Watson can hang on to this outside lane. I think Watson has the best truck, but Jericho has the best short one truck, at least on fresh tires. And he's going to give him Jericho to the race lead in the number 77. But if it's anything like we've seen already in this one, it is far from over. 3 laps to go. Watson's going to have another one through 3 and 4. Another great one from May Watson. He's going to cross him back over to Jericho. Go to twine plot. 3 laps to go at Chicagoland. And it's going to come down to any one of these top 3, maybe top 4 if things get chaotic.
That was such a good block, Nathan. If Jericho does not put that block, Watson gets around so easily this time around. If he doesn't put the block, Watson is leading right now. And Chris Jericho, with now 2 laps to go this time by, he is just 2 laps away from home. Here comes the 33 to the inside of Benny Watson. Ryan Durrani trying to take a look to the inside of turn number 1. And this is all that Chris Jericho wants to see these two battle. Aaron Abel might get back into the mix of it. We have a lap car way ahead in the distance. Will not be a factor. We have 2 lap cars, actually. But going into turn number 3, Nathan, again, far from over. It is not done till it's over. But Chris Jericho not leading the entire time, but he's definitely been there, and it will be rewarded in 1 lap's time. This is the white flag from Chicagoland.
The Powerade 1 to go here from Chicagoland Speedway. It was not easy. It was a night where it was dominated by Ben Watson and the number 56. But a fantastic cycle of the last 12 laps. And for the 4th time in 9 races and back-to-back, Chris Jericho will win the JBL 200 at Chicagoland Speedway. He cannot
Finally
be stopped.
got that intermediate. Sorry, you go.
Jericho cannot be stopped, Watson. 4 wins in the first 9 races.
Not. Yeah, what a crazy statistic. He finally got that intermediate monkey off his back, so the sky's the limit for Chris Jericho. He's mastered the short tracks. He's finally conquered the intermediates. Oh, the 33 late to pit road. But Chris Jericho, what's going to stop him now? Like, he has the points lead. Will have a very comfy cushion leaving Chicagoland. So now that he's mastered a lot of the majority of the tracks, like, what's going to stop him now?
What's going to stop him now? Well, we got to see if what goes down with the next 4 races. We got Las Vegas. We got Willow Springs, our second and final road course. And then we got Pikes Peak, the first time ever on the Truck Series schedule. And then we got Talladega. Talladega, that can change everything here in 4 races. But, really dominant season so far. 4 wins in 9 races, and I don't know, he might be able to rack up 7, 8 wins in the 16 races. He might win half of the season. Nobody's been able to stop him up to this point, and that continues here tonight. I thought Watson was going to get there. He definitely had the best truck all night, but Jericho had the best truck at the end. Watson in second. Great one from Abel to that undercut and wasn't in contention. Mendoza in fourth. Duani in fifth. Almost got his mile and a half redemption from Charlotte at race 2. Alessandro, he was flying late as well. Got top 6 out of nowhere. Carabos in 7th. Sam Deal in 8th. Juan Garcia in 9th. And how about Angel Gutierrez? Sneaks into a top 10 spot. Susfly, Wood, Cosmos, joins out Eli Bright the top 15. A fairly chaotic race here at Chicagoland, but how about that? I believe that's the 4th race in a row, Bronson, here in the Powerade Truck Series, where we have had 0 cautions.
And sometimes you don't need a caution to have a great race, and that was perfectly put on display here at Chicagoland. Another classic here, and I believe you said that we were going to go to a different format, or a different version of this track, which this version of the track will be sorely missed, but hey, you gotta switch it up sometimes. But it's been a pleasure doing this version of the track that's given us so many classics year after year.
Absolutely. We'll see if I end up changing it for next year for JBL Cup and Krispy Kreme National, but what a race here. That definitely had a 2 half type of a race. The first half before pit stops was chaotic, and outstarting on the old tires definitely was the way to go. But then after pit stops, fresh tires, everyone went into a different gear, into high gear, and went crazy with so many passes for the race lead, and it definitely got really interesting. And we got to see of what all goes down at Las Vegas next time out. What's the final thoughts, Bronson, here for a chaotic 34-lap race with Chris Jericho once again getting win number 4 on the season.
Win number 4, Juan Garcia. I mean, where did he finished just 9th? So I mean, he'll still have a good chunk of points leaving, but definitely not going to be the advantage that they wanted coming into Chicagoland. That last pit stop, whatever happened there, that definitely hurt them on the long run, because if you have guys like Aaron Abel that came in the same lap, and that they're able to finish ahead, that's, something happened. Yeah, Aaron Abel finished 3rd, you finished 9th, so something happened, not what they wanted to see, but those they still got a few races to make that points up, to make the points deficit up. It's not over till it's over. We have found that out time and time again, Nathan, and I'm sure this season will be no different. It's going to be just another classic one.
Absolutely. We've seen some great championship battles, and like I said, just a couple of races before the finale, it is Talladega, so that one can change everything. But right now, it's been all Spire. They have won now 6 out of the first 9, and 4 out of the first 9 have been won by Chris Jericho. But this one was not easy. He had to pass Benny Watson late, and still a great point save for Benny Watson. And I know we've talked all about Jericho, but Watson had a good point save. Sam Deal got a top 10. Duncan Wood got a top 12. Juan Garcia top 10. So I mean, it's still going to be where Jericho, if he steps up, there's going to be drivers that will be able to capitalize on it. So we got to see what goes down here. Next time out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway to kick off the West Coast swing. We had a Northeast swing to start, and now we are going out west to Las Vegas, Little Springs, and Pikes Peak for the West Coast swing. So we'll see what ends up happening over there. And thanks for Bronson for joining me up here in the booth for this one. And congratulations once again to Chris Jericho on win number 4 on the season. Here are the points, and we will see you guys next week at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.